Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you all are well. So I would like to welcome you all to this webinar on the topic of hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Subhan, we can hear you.
Yeah. So our topic for today is practical approach to operational excellence. And this is me, Abdul Subhan, with you. I'm from HSEQ Professionals. I'm the marketing specialist in this company. And with me, my colleague, Mr. Shamir Ali Zedi. He is also looking after all the operations and everything of this webinar. And now I would like to introduce our trainer, Mr. Muhammad Arshad Imam. Mashallah, he is the expert in the operational excellence, and he has almost more than 20 years of experience in his field. So I would hand over to Mr. Arshad, and he will continue further, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Subhan, for the short introduction. First of all, good afternoon and welcome everyone who are with us today. Today, over the next hour, I want to give you something practical. Let's call it a framework. You can start applying very next Sunday morning, not another slide deck full of theory. Over the last period, many of my friends and relatives reaching out to discuss how I am able to successfully apply operational excellence initiatives in GCC and KSA, especially KSA, despite of challenging environments. So I thought introducing a framework, we call it PEEF, Practical Excellence Execution Framework, and let's go get into it. I have observed some organizations that are struggling due to the lack of systems and multiple challenges throughout my career. At times, you come to know that teams are having frictions, they are working in silos, no clear directions, chaotic mornings with burnout teams in the evenings, leadership not getting desired outputs, and missing targets and results. And this is happening in many organizations across the region. And I'm sure you are pretty familiar about it. So now the question is, why operational excellence and why now? So we need to understand what is the global and regional circumstances and how the challenges are converting things for us. 6 forces are converging to make things a boardroom priority. And if you see on this deck, first, the strategy execution gap. First of all, at many organizations, the strategy is not clear, or even the strategy is not well designed. If it is there, nobody knows about it from the frontline workforce, right? And McKinsey's research recently shows 70% of the strategic initiatives fail, not because the strategy was wrong, but the execution was weak. Second, AI and technology disruption is happening, and we all know about it. 89% of operation leaders from a PwC research in 2026 stated that their technology investments haven't fully delivered the results, and this was actually not expected from them. Third, the customer expectations are rising day by day with the innovations and technology disruptions. So similarly, another study from PwC found that 52% of the consumers, more than half, have already stopped using a brand after just one bad experience. On top of this, we have rising governance and regulatory pressure now from the Vision 2030. You all know about NCA, SADAYA, DGA, SAMA, SASO, ZCA, and you name it, and avoiding talent and across every domain, every sector you can say, right? And a widening talent and capability gap as well. You are having. So with the 87% of executives telling recently McKinsey they already have a skill gap, or they expect one within next 5 years. So yes, these six forces we concluded in one line: operational excellence is not optional anymore. So we need to be adaptable, and we need to see that we are resilient enough to cope these challenges. And these are the high level challenges, by the way, that are being faced by the leadership itself. Later we will talk about the other challenges that from the tactical and operational perspective we will come across about in a while. Okay. So here's what happens when execution is weak. Let's see the hidden cost. And I call it operational drift. Usually it's very slow. I mean, you don't see it. It's invisible. But it's expensive. It's expensive. You start on your planned route, but small deviations accumulate. Missed deadline here, a shortcut there. You know how things are happening, and slowly the actual route drifts away from the plan. So this is happening in most of the organization I have worked with, and I'm coming across from my colleagues, from my friends, from my relatives, here and there. And here's the problem that by then nobody notices the drift until it's very expensive. And if you see the same here, you start from origin to a target, but you drifts and nobody notices it until it's very expensive and you are far away from the actual route. And what is happening? What is the impact that's happening? You see lower productivity, lower throughput, rework and defects, errors in the outputs, complaints rising. You get the SLA breaches and penalties over it. You have so much operational waste. It's wasting and accumulating to millions, and burnout and firefighting starts. So, as we mentioned earlier, as per a study, 52%, more than half of the consumers have already walked away by then, till we notice the drift. So, what we assume here, that we are following a path that was planned, but we didn't follow it exactly, and it turned out to be unpredictable, right? So why do most transformation programs stall now? Let's talk about why we are drifting. And we see, from the researchers, from the Gartner, Forrester, McKinsey, these are giving us much of the data that we are getting from the market industry, and frankly from my own experience actually points to around 70% of change programs failing to their objectives, and it is rarely from lack of effort actually. You see effort is everywhere. People are putting their best, but 7 patterns explain most of it. No strategy deployment, which is leading to the execution. no proper governance, weak ownerships or lack of ownership somewhere, I have seen, poor communication, no proper communication is being there within the organization, within the departments, within the teams, even in the teams. And no measurements, no routine management, and silos mentality. So all of these sound familiar, right? You are not alone. Here I would like to request Engineer Subhan if you can launch our poll 1. You can attend, you can see this poll. Yes, I will give 30 seconds to answer this. Yeah. So as I see from the poll results, we can see most of the inputs are saying all above, which means, yes, what we are talking about is really happening in the market, in the industries. So more than 50% are saying all above, right? And we are around 38. So yes, what we see here, what we see here is that there is a gap. But before going deep into how to fill that gap, we have to clear up few myths or a few myths that are most people having some wrong idea about what operational excellence actually is. So there is a myth that say OE is just cost cutting. It's just cost cutting. But in fact, OE drives resilience. It brings up the productivity. It flourishes the growth and results in sustainable performance actually. Then there is another myth. We need new tool to be efficient. And the fact is OE actually the most inefficiency comes from the broken processes, not missing tools. Several times we see that there are so many tools, millions are being spent on those tools, and we don't have that productivity that are needed for the organization. So it's not about missing tools, or it's not about how efficient are the tools. Actually, we need to see the root cause, where it is happening, where is the gap. So another myth is about that OE is only for large organizations, but it is skills to organizations for every size. Another myth is once we implement operational excellence, we are done, that's it. No, OE is management capability actually, and it's not one-time project, it's a journey actually. So it's part of the management capability that you keep on finding the gaps and fulfilling them, right? Another myth is about AI automation, AI and automation, both fixes broken processes faster. But the fact is AI accelerates the good processes and bad processes equally based on what inputs are being given to them, right? So that's exactly why the demand for operational excellence and quality discipline is climbing day by day, not shrinking as AI adoption accelerates. Yesterday, I had a call from one of my friends from North America, and he was asking me the same question, and he was telling me that the AI adoption is so fast in North America, and especially in US. Now, the the frontline workers who were engaged in their own duties now spending most of the times in checking, making sure the quality checks are being done properly. So operational excellence is the future actually, because the more you accelerate the speed of the processes, whatever you are having, the more it will become challenging to make sure that everything is going smooth. Now, based on those challenges that we are having in many organizations, and we have seen in the poll how people are facing these on daily basis, we have to be clear that there is another challenge. There is another challenge. After the myths, there is another challenge. There is no standardized operational excellence framework existing there, and that's why I worked myself on throughout my experience to develop something that helps a lot of organization actually. And this is something I have not invented in a vacuum. It's built on 4 globally recognized best practices. The EFQM European model, you know about it, that gives us direction, execution, and results. ASQ, American Society of Quality, body of knowledge, gives us quality leadership and tools mastery, and it goes up to the operational level, not only the strategic and tactical. ISO 9001 gives us the quality management system, process approach, and risk-based thinking. And ITIL gives us an AI native product, the ITIL 5 and service lifecycle. So I have took the strongest principles from all those 4 and synthesized them into 8 operational excellence pillars. Now, if you talk about these pillars, and if you see them on the deck, these are very familiar to each of us. These are very familiar to each of us, starting from the strategy direction, leadership and governance, customer experience, people and culture, process and quality, technology and innovation, partners and suppliers, and performance and results. Now, every organization, regardless of the sector, whether you talk about industrial sector, you talk about IT, telecom, health sector, manufacturing, you name it, logistics, supply chain, and so on. Every organization breaks down in these 8 dimensions. And remember this, operational excellence is the engine. Organizational excellence is the destination. So we start with these pillars. And based on that, and keeping in mind that these are our foundation, we move forward. So let's have a dive deep into slide details of each of these pillars. Let me show you quickly where each of these pillars typically breaks, what it costs, and the one metric that tells you if it is fixed pillar. I mean, there are so many other metrics maybe, but I'm just due to for the sake of simplicity and to make things quicker due to the shortage of time, we are mentioning few examples here. So pillar 1 is the strategic direction. Now, when it breaks when the strategy stays in the boardroom and teams can't explain the priorities. And I'm sure you have seen this We have vision, mission, and everything is written in books, in documents, but people are not able to translate it. Even in some organizations, people are not aware about what does it mean to them. So the cost, that cost you slower execution actually, and duplicated efforts, misaligned investment. So the common challenges when you are having the strategic direction is not clear. The North Star, we can say it, the North Star. If you don't have the North Star, how you cascade the strategy across every level? If the North Star is not clear, if you have a North Star, if you have a direction, but it's not communicated well, if you are investing in decisions, but it's not being propagated to the right level, right? So actually, this results actually in departments setting conflicting goals in their annual targets, and strategies confined to the leadership. And some warning signs you can see that KPIs conflicting across teams. Plans are reviewed only in a crisis. Only in a crisis we sit together in meetings and discuss what to do now. But as a system, we are lacking something, right? So what is the business impact is obvious. We have misaligned investments, we have slower execution, we have loss of productivity efforts, burnout teams, and so on, you name it. So there are some maturity path to follow, and we can have a lot on it. But the bottom line is that we should have a strategy that cascades across every level. It should be communicated and it should be very clear. So the clarity is there to everyone. Now the second pillar is about how well-defined organizational structure enabling clear ownership and accountability. It is about leadership and governance. And it breaks when decision rights are unclear. You don't know who is the decision maker. And even the decision makers are reluctant to take the decisions. Unclear governance exists only on paper. Governance are only existing on paper. So that costs you slower decisions, definitely. Repeated risk exposure. No risk registers. I have seen so many organizations where operations are running without any risk register. So these are very important. I mean, the contributing points that needs to be defined under the leadership and governance pillar. And you need to develop some organizational health index to make sure that you are getting it right. Okay, so you are having some labs in RAID and Kappa, which are very I say vital registers that need to run any operation of organization actually. So there are accountability gaps, repeated risk exposure, and slower decision making, and this is happening all around us. Then the third pillar is the customer experience, and this is how customer expectations are defined and consistently met, right? So feedback loops close the gap between voice and action, and sometimes we are not caring about what customer is expecting. We are just working in silos, even not interacting with their demands, not understanding their demands, what they are demanding, what are their pains, how we can keep them informed? What are the service commitments that are consistently need to be delivered? And how we are getting the feedbacks from them? Is there any proper feedback loop developed or established to hear the customer voice of customer? So some common challenges that expectations are only assumed and we are not getting any feedback, and what it results into, the service level agreements are not being fulfilled, complaints keep repeating, customers getting unhappy, and this cost your customer churn, brand erosion, loss of referrals, you lose customers. So these are the impacts that are happening. Yes, Abdul Muqeet, you have raised your hand. Do you have any question? I cannot hear you, Abdul Muqeet. Am I audible, Subhan?
Yes, you're audible. I'm just
Okay.
turning on Abdul Muqeet's mic.
Yes, please. Quickly, if you can have discussion, and then we can. We have by the way, we will be having a question and answer session at the end of the session. In the last 10 minutes, we will be taking all the questions.
I suggest, Mr. You can continue, and in the
Okay.
end, if there will be any question, they can
Yeah.
ask.
And you can always put your questions into the chat box, and our moderator will keep a note on it. Thank you very much. Okay, so moving on towards the fourth pillar, that is about people and culture, and this is the most ignored pillar, unfortunately. Uh, the common challenges that you see are that departments are operating in isolation. Development stops after onboarding. I mean, you don't care about employees. If you are not caring about employees development, how you will be going to deliver, right? And if you're not engaging with your employee, so employees will hesitate to speak up, and you will lose the valuable talent that you are having without their inputs. You are not getting the valuable inputs that need to be taken from those valuable talent that you have hired, and you are paying them. So some warning signs that turnover rates start rising, and the engagement index is very low in such organizations, and you see that lower engagement intentions result in demotivation and of other employees as well. And this, this badly affects the company's revenue. But again, this is a silent killer actually, and people don't know about it until it's too late, as we discussed in our first slide about the operational drift. Okay, so any of those pillars are always contributing to your operational drift if you realize it. Then we talk about the process and quality. That is very important pillar, very important pillar. But most of the times it keeps up to the documents, and many organizations are not paying a proper attention to them. So critical knowledge resides within the individuals. Same errors, same defects recurring every audit or every product release. Similar incidents are happening. You are unable to, fix the root causes, and you are moving on to the next level of problems that are unprecedented. So basically, this pillar is a core area where a lot of attention need to be paid, but somehow it, if the process is not ad hoc, it's documented, but it keeps under till the documentation, but it is not being practically implemented. And this is what we will be going to discuss, how we will be trying to make things practical across organizations. Now, when we talk about technology and innovation, this includes data, of course. So yes, AI is coming, as we discussed in the initial slides, that AI and technology disruption is there. And we will be discussing in few minutes about how AI is enabling many organizations to contribute into the operational excellence. But before going into the details, let's see what this pillar is about. I mean, we have, if we are having automation and AI remove manual and repetitive work, then it's very useful actually. But the question is how we are utilizing our technology and how we are utilizing our tools that we are already having. What is the percentage of utilization of the investments that we have made so far? Millions we have invested. Are we utilizing them in a fully functional manner, or we are wasting a lot on it? So I will come across after a few slides telling you that how the biggest part of this excellence is usually waste removal, is usually through the waste removal, through the elimination, through the lean methodology. So we will talk about it, but the business impact here is higher cost from manual work and slower time to market. Technology debt compounds over time, and so you are having tools, you are having technology, but it's getting let's say underutilized, and you are not getting full potential of what you are having, and the disintegration between those tools are also paying a huge amount to the company. So this is actually a very important pillar. We need to make sure that it's being addressed. Then we talk about the partners and suppliers. The stakeholders are very important always in any initiative. So when we are having partners and suppliers and vendors act as one ecosystem, they have some contracts, clear guidelines, clear measurable expectations from them. There are some SLAs on them. We are tracking their performance. They have shared risk managed, and so on. We don't have those warning signs that are coming in the form of repeating issues from those vendors, no resulting consequences. We have contract terms, but rarely it is being enforced. So there are some visible impact on that, and this can be properly addressed if we take those stakeholders in confidence well before the execution actually starts. And we will talk about execution in a few minutes, how we are going to execute the framework. Now, the performance and results, the last pillar. This is the output actually. It breaks when dashboards report data instead of insights. And sometimes people develop dashboards, but they are not giving the right indicators. I mean, it's just for the fulfillment of a dashboard. So that costs you reactive management and wrong decisions from the wrong KPIs, of course. So watch your balance scorecard realization rates and other KPIs. Are we aligning those KPIs with our strategic direction, with our target and goals, annual and quarterly goals or not? So this is another very important part, and this is affecting everything that we talked about in the last pillars. Now, here is a self-assessment. Where do you stand after getting all those 8 pillars? You need only 90 seconds to rate each pillar, and then I would request Subhan to launch the second poll. Have a look at this screen on and rate each pillar, and please have this poll answered. So we have 30 seconds to go with this poll. Yeah. So I can see again that more than 50% are having issues or challenges, let's say, in all of the above. And definitely these are very important pillars that need to be taken care of. So thank you for the contribution, and let's move towards the before moving to the next very important section of this webinar. I want to bring your attention towards these patterns that repeat across different sectors in so many organizations we have seen. So, like unclear ownership, weak accountability, silos in culture, whatever pillar you just landed on, here's what is actually standing in the way. And these patterns repeat across every sector. I mean, you name it. In government, private organizations, across, I mean, unclear ownership, weak accountability is very known. Silos culture is repeating, inconsistent governance, and delayed escalations, and that leads to further fragmented results, and initiatives that are not consolidated through proper data and indicators. Sometimes there are KPIs overload, and you are not having a system, you are having an individual dependency that is very common. And things are in people's mind, and they are not having even to they don't know how to, I mean, there is no proper knowledge system, So they are execution system problem. None of these are people problem. Now, let's move to the most important part of this webinar. This is the framework that we are talking about, and it is based on the foundation of 8 pillars that we have discussed, and it's about how you diagnose, I mean, from those 8 pillars where we are standing. So to build a system, it needs a systems answer. Yeah, that is what we are trying to build in the practical excellence execution framework that is called PEEF. It's not a project management, it's not a PDCA cycle, it's complement. Yes, it complements Lean, Six Sigma, Kaizen, PDCA through the execution governance. Okay, so it has 3 parts. First is diagnostics, built on the 8 pillar diagnostic model we just walked, and then execution, a continuous cycle plan. So starting from the proper planning, we will discuss in the next slide. Execution, how we try to tie the execution with the planned initiatives. Then how we are going to very frequently review those and embed the successful part of that. And after that, there is another part that is enabling. Enabling, it is about how you are trying to make sure that you are utilizing the enterprise management capabilities that is about from governance, people, and technology. So, if we talk about some details about the plan, because time we have a short time, so I wouldn't be able to go into the deep details of it. But let's zoom into the execution cycle. If you start from the plan, know where to focus and who owns it. So you first diagnose something from the pillars that we discussed, that you have some gaps in, even if the good news is that it's not necessary to work on all those 8 pillars simultaneously. You can choose from the Pareto analysis, let's say 80/20 rule, where you are having most of the challenges. Maybe your strategy is there, but you are unable to cascade it. Maybe you have a good governance, but you are not able to reflect it through your KPIs and the process excellence. So it's about where we are having or where we are lacking the potential, right? So you define the target, verify how you will measure it, and set the timelines. Develop a team, and this we are talking here about the execution framework. We have already diagnosed and prioritized the area where we need to work on. Now we are in the execution framework that tells about how to lead it so smartly that we don't deviate or drift from our initial plan. This is the most important challenge, actually, what I have seen throughout my career, that yes, initiatives usually being taken, but it's not being executed in a proper way, and after that people lose hope. So nothing happens. So this is the challenge that I'm trying to address, and this is the most important part of this webinar, that how you convert priorities into disciplined actions, how you are going to implement, monitor weekly, how you are enabling the management, the middle management, and the workforce to review the risks are being managed, resolve the issues that are erupting, and engage stakeholders. How you are going to do that all? You must need to have a proper kappa and RAID registers there. You need to have a proper measurement system, first of all. And after that, you can walk through the execution. You must define proper ownership that is accountable, and the leadership that is fully sponsoring the initiative. So everything is connected, but we can work. The good news is that we can work on certain specific pillars at a time. It's not necessary that we go and take everything together and we end up, doing nothing. So implement, monitor weekly, manage risks, resolve issues, engage stakeholders. Then come from the results and surface what is stuck. Then you evaluate results, review your kappa and RAID logs. So the most important part that I usually emphasize on is you have a proper measurement system. Without a measurement system, you will not be able to gain anything. You will not be able to measure anything. You will not be able to see where you are standing and where you are heading. And then you will be making the teams and the workforce and the leadership all accountable through kappa and RAID bi-weekly reviews. There are corrective and preventive actions coming out from the problem management, from different issues that we are having, right? Then the RAID, we are having a risk register. We have having categories of risks, right? We are having assumptions. We are having issues being erupted on daily basis. Then we are having dependencies, right? So how we are going to address all those through these two very critical, very vital, I called vital registers for any organization. to work on. And of course, the enablers are there that we discussed, that these are enterprise management capability enablers. So yes, you know, you need to have a proper communication, management. You have to proper stakeholder engagement, how you need to engage teams, how you need to engage different management teams, middle management, lower management, higher management, leaders, front workforce, and so on. So this is how you confirm your results and surface what is stuck, evaluate, and then reviewing bring in the leadership governance and make decisions and escalations accordingly. And you embed the gain permanent and make the gains permanent. So not a one-off. And this is what in the next slide I will be going to tell you a real story how we achieved it on different assignments. So standardize what we have worked, capture lessons learned, build capability, upgrade your maturity score, and drive continuous improvement. This is critical. Embed feeds directly back into the next plan. So what you are building, you are maintaining it, you are sustaining it, and then this is not a project with an end date. It's a cycle that repeats continuously. Okay, so basically, this is what we called the enterprise enablers. If you have a quick look on it, you will see that there is a leadership commitment, change management, there are change resistance. We need to follow the Virginia model for change resistance. We have to see the bell curve, how the change management is being handled, communication and collaboration, recognition, accountability for the people, proper governance, technology is properly being utilized, and so on. So yes, the enablers are still important when you are passing through all these. Now, the turnaround story. Let me show you how this tool, how this looks like in practice. Actually, I mean, let me give you some anonymous engagement example. It was not a very large transformation office. It was just a handful of people who started with few pillars, not all pillars at all. And when they started, those pillars were actually broken. Processes were being dealt in on ad hoc basis, fragmented ownership, and so many recurring incidents. Every morning you are running up about after the incidents. No one fully accountable even after that. So the intervention, what we did, we standardized the process, named clear ownership. And these were through the CAPA register, and we established the rate register in parallel. We named clear ownership because whenever you establish these registers, there is a clear ownership for the owner who is responsible to bring that action item in place, and tracked leading those indicators that through this PEEF framework. And after recurring incidents reduce after this execution of this, we have seen how the recurring incidents reduce, how process compliance improved, how the customer satisfaction increased, how and if you see here, the most significant part was the operational waste. And that's why a few minutes back, I talked about it, that the operational waste is the most important part that being eliminated from any such initiatives. So yes, there is a potential in this framework to move on. Now, very quickly, I will go through few before ending this presentation and coming to your questions. Within 2 minutes, I will pass through few slides that will tell you how AI is amplifying whatever is already there and why. Okay, so yes, there is a AI boom now. I don't call it buzzword anymore. It is real. It's a fact where we are living. It's an AI era now, but we need to understand some realities. This is exactly showing what happens when you automate a broken foundation. If you automate or you give some broken inputs to the AI, so what will happen? The same failure will multiply by 3. And by the way, it is proper study by consulting firms. Then you have 67% AI project fails. Why? In 1 year, poor data quality. Because of the data quality, we will discuss in the next slides what are the crucial parts of AI to get mature results from it. Then maybe you have 40% ticket deflections, yes, through automation, but only when foundations are clean. Okay, so yes, this is about now the impact of AI on these 3 pillars that we talked about: people and culture, process and quality, and technology and innovation, and that also contains data. So we see that culture must shift from AI evidence to AI fluency fast, because you see 76% of employees now use AI at work, up from 30% in 2023. So yes, people are getting, but 77% of organizations plan to launch upskilling or reskilling programs because they see there is a gap, right? And now the process quality, yes, defect detection accuracy with AI vision versus 70 to 80% manual inspection is getting better, but negative 20% potential reduction in manufacturing quality cost with AI driven. So yes, we are getting something in process and quality as well. And then when we talk about the technology innovation, it is 2 times faster. R&D pace up to $500 billion per year is being added in innovation value. I was hearing something yesterday as well about it, that how the entrepreneurship, the startups are investing in AI. So 39% of organizations can contribute can attribute any EBIT impact to AI, despite 8% regular use. But the upside is real. Most organizations haven't captured it yet. Okay, why? I will tell you in the next slide. Now, how AI strengthens the operation excellence, how it is contributing towards the operation excellence. You see here predictive maintenance. Downtime is less than by 50%. Asset life extended up to 40%. Then if you talk about quality detection, 98% accuracy with AI vision systems, but only with proper foundation. Supply chain optimization, there is up to 20% lower logistic costs, and demand forecasting is increasing. So 70% of large enterprises adopt AI-based forecasting by 2030. And these are the industries already leading. For example, manufacturing, 50% now run in AI production. Logistics and supply chain, 72%. Healthcare, the topmost, 80% adoption. Then financial services, $20 billion plus annual AI spending. And then energy. So before going into the last poll and taking your question and answers, just have a look how the AI readiness is important to go into actual, let's say, to gain from the AI what is needed actually. So yes, we need to know what is required before you automate anything. Here is a 15-point scorecard, also from the research, that tells you if you are actually ready. 5 categories you see here, starting from the data quality, workflow, knowledge base, ownership, human controls, starting from the data quality. So data integrity is very important. Data quality is very important. So are we investing in those areas? Have we fixed those areas? If not, when you will input garbage, you will get garbage out of it. So yes, we need to put some efforts in these areas, the 3 checkpoints each of those areas. And if you meet 0 to 5 of these 15, you are not ready. 6 to 10, they are typically partially ready but inconsistent results. 11 to 15, you are ready to automate. So notice this something, every one of these categories is really just pillar discipline, and it is applied specifically to AI only. Okay, but the bottom line, what I have to tell you is that if we are going to automate or using AI, we need to fix our system first and then to move onwards. So I would request Subhan to please launch the 3rd poll before we take the question and answers?
Any more thing?
Yeah, sure.
So please have this poll before we jump into the question answer session. Okay, so yes, so we see from here that yes, most of, let's say, more than 75% or around more than 80% are still not ready to utilize the AI in its real sense, right? So that makes sense. Now, so where do you actually start after all this information and every one of the maps directly back to the framework, the practical excellence execution framework? You never leave the framework you just learned. The SS, start from the SS part and maturity assessment. Then you have a maturity assessment. You do the Pareto, prioritize what pillar you have to work on, more than one pillars maybe. Then you go to the execution and sustain it. That's it. So this is all about today's session. You don't need a bigger team, a bigger budget, or a bigger transformation program to start. You need to be honest about where you actually stand, and today you are already here. I would like to take the questions now. Subhan, if you have anything in chat, please let me know. And here there are some.
Yeah, I also turned on the mics for others, so anyone who have any queries or questions, they can ask directly.
Yeah. The last slides are some three ways forward, how you can move forward from maturity assessment to capability development, some training, some transformation consulting, and so on. So you can have a look at these slides later on as well. We will share the slides with you. But please, if you have any questions, you can come forward. Do we have something in chat, Subhan?
During the training, Mr. Abdul Muqeed, he had some questions, so I request if you have any query or question, you can directly ask now. You can unmute your mic.
You can even type your questions if you are unable to due to the office. Maybe you can type your questions also in the chat. There is a message from Bilal Said. If you receive the certificate, yes, this you can check with the HSEQ moderators. They will reply to you one-to-one. Are there any software KPI calculations or measurements? Yes. What do you mean exactly by this? But what I understand from this question is that are we having some softwares that make the automation possible? And so if you talk about this, yes, just one moment. Let me show you some. There are some softwares. Unable to. What's this one? These are some top AI applications powering operational excellence actually. So yes, there are some softwares that helps actually, like Power BI Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, ServiceNow. Even in the supply chain, Blue Yonder is very common. Something in predictive asset management, IBM Maximo, and so on. So yes, there are. There was another question. What is the relation of PEEF with HSEQ professional? What we can benefit from PEEF? Is it a software or training platform? No, this is the actually PEEF is the framework that we discussed. how we are going to execute, how we are integrating tools and methodologies based on the foundation, based on our foundation that we discussed, 8 pillars, and how we are utilizing the enablers and tools and methodologies to make sure that the execution is happening really. Okay, not only it's not only theory, it's something practical. Yes. Okay, let's. I think there are no further questions. So, yes, you will get the slides, of course, but you can have a feedback form here. Before leaving, I would request you to please fill this feedback form whenever you will have a few minutes only. So this will actually help HSEQ to get your feedback. If you want to contact HSEQ or me, you can have this. So just scan this code on your mobile and you can get to the exact form to fill it out.
Mr. Arshad, there is one question from Miss Fatin in the chat box. If you can
Let me check.
take it, please.
Yeah, very good question actually. Look, so in the execution actually, Fatin, we are making sure that we are covering this part from the beginning. How? We are putting them in the lessons learned register. After the CAPA corrective action or preventive action have been done, we are moving it to the next register that is called the lessons learned register, and from there to the knowledge management systems of the organizations. Usually some organizations are not are maintaining a knowledge management system, but some organizations are not having it. We need to develop it. But yes, this is why actually we are, I mean, this is the very important part that we embed. That's why we are saying it Perry. The last part of this execution cycle is embed. You make sure that it's sustainable. Yes. Any other questions? So if you don't have any other questions, I think we can wrap up the session. Thank you very much to everyone who joined today, and I'm sure you enjoyed the session. And if you have any queries, any questions, you can reach out to me directly or to our training institute. You can on the screen you can see my number and my contact, my LinkedIn profile, and you can reach out to me for any of your queries in future. Okay, thank you very much. Subhan, I think we can conclude.
Thank you so much everyone for joining this fruitful session, and I hope it helped you all a lot. And if you have any questions or any query, you can later on ask me or Mr. Shamir, and we will be there for you, inshallah.